Hey guys, it's Rob here. Today we'll be doing something a bit different to usual and go over the history of an animatronic show, that being the Man and Dog Show. This show was located at the Gillians Wonderland Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey, but unfortunately is closed now. To pay tribute to this show, which was one of the few cybernomic shows still performing, I'll be discussing the history of this set of bots, where they came from, and where they likely are going to end up now that the pier is closed. Before we begin, I want to thank my thumbnail artist, Sanity, for requesting this video idea. As usual, I've gathered information from multiple different sources, which I'll be linking in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as in the next video, we'll be going over the final CU1 stage location I have yet to cover. Anyways, let's get into the history of the Man and Dog Show. Our journey begins at the 1011 Scranton Carbondale location, located in Dixon City/Scranton, Pennsylvania, which opened in early August of 1984. There's a photo of the exterior a month before its opening, where the entire logo was placed onto a giant label on top of the building. We have an article upon its opening, giving us some info about the location. The location was 12,000 square feet, with 70 employees employed at the time of the opening. Their showroom could also seat 210 people, and their lounge room 110 people. They also likely had a sports room at this location, as the article mentions having a TV that played cartoons, ESPN, and other sports. They had a balcony stage, with Madame Oink as their guest star based on the time of the restaurant's opening. The lounge also had the king, though it's unknown if they had Dolly Dimples as a cabaret act, as she isn't mentioned in the article. They would receive Helen by 1984, as all other locations did. By May of 1984, the location would receive a new playground, detailed in this ad as having flying turtles, a ball crawl, and Tarzan swings. There's also a partial exterior shot of the location from August of 1984, where we can see the wooden paneling with a poster slot shown here as well. We also see their Chuck Walk Around, the standard one for the time, and their Munch Walk Around as well. Although an exact closing date is unknown for this location, the location would close in late 1984, with the last mention of it being November of 1984. Continental Marketing Group would purchase the location between February and March of 1985 and would turn it into a Zack Periwinkle's, a rival restaurant. There's a couple of photos from March of 1985 giving us a look at the exterior, with the new Zack's road sign being visible here. We get an even better shot of the road sign being installed in this photo as well. The original opening date was April 3rd, 1985, but for unknown reasons would be pushed back to April 22nd, which is when it would open. Minimal changes were made to the restaurant, with the animatronics mostly being unchanged aside from some minor cosmetic changes and name changes, with the exception of Chuck E. Cheese, which would be retrofitted into Zack Periwinkle, a panda. This photo you've been looking at shows off a good portion of the stage, with Pasquale being mostly unchanged aside from the addition of a goatee and a Zack apron, Helen having blonde curly hair instead of a black and white wig, Chuck being turned into Zack, and Jasper renamed to Dudley Dog, in some new clothing. We don't see what became of Munch here, or in any of the photos during the Zack Periwinkle era. The next photo shows off the other side of the stage, showing off their Zack walk around, as well as the Warblets, which were renamed to the Zackettes. The curtains of the stage here are unfortunately closed, though you can see part of the name tag, which seems to start with Thurs, though I can't really figure out what the name of the character is based on this, so let's move on. This photo gives us another look at the stage, where we can see part of Helen's new name tag, which tells us her name was likely Henrietta. This photo shows off more of the showroom, showing that they kept the clapperboard and flag wavers as well. There's also these other photos, showing off their Zack walk around, again. We know that other parts of the store were debranded as well, with Jasper's General Store renamed to the General Store based on this ad from April of 1985. It's unknown if the king was used here at all, or if something else was done to him instead. Saks would last longer than the Pizza Time Theater did, with it closing by May of 1989, likely due to the company getting into legal money issues that forced the company to most likely close, taking the business with it. Since the early 1990s, the building has been gutted, expanded, and subdivided, with the building now being a DeFi trampolines. As for the animatronics, they would be auctioned off alongside the store's equipment, games, and seating on May 22nd, 1989, which would result in them ending up in another family entertainment center. Captain Goodtime's indoor fun park and ice cream parlor restaurant, located on 5360 Route 42, was a family entertainment center in Turnersville, New Jersey that would open in November of 1989 with a set of bots that had been at Zack's not so long ago. An article from January of 1991 details this, showing off a couple of photos of their rides, though no photos of the bots unfortunately. The building was 10,000 square feet, and we also see mention here of a robotic animal review, which, combined with the only footage we have of this place with the bots, confirms Zach's spots were sent here. Speaking of which, let's move on to it. This footage shows that the bots were placed onto the top floor of a White House with a train in front of it that you could ride on. The bots were barely changed at all from when they were Zach's, with the only differences I can see here being the lack of Zach's branding and the lack of any clothes on Zach here. We see by this point that Munch had been turned into a cat, though I have no clue whether this happened during the Zach era or the Captain Goodtimes era. They seem to work well here, with no issues I can see here. Also interesting is the fact that the Pizza Time Theater show tapes are being used here, which makes sense considering the little effort put into most of the retrofits. The boss would be gone by 1993, and Captain Goodtimes would also close by 1994, with the building being turned into multiple things, such as a monkey business, but is now Cornerstone Christian Academy. As for the bots, though, it would be sent to yet another entertainment venue. Gillian's Wonderland Pier is an amusement park that opened in 1927. I will not be going over the history of this place because of that, as it has been open for nearly 100 years. Instead, we'll be skipping ahead to 1993, when the boss from Captain Goodtimes would be moved to Gillians, and installed there the same year. They would then be turned into a band called Rocky and the Railroad Ramblers, though are commonly referred to as the Man and Dog Show. This is where the full band would be retrofitted, with the cat being the least changed, now being named Bubba and wearing a conductor hat with a bandana and pants. The panda would be renamed to Rocky, and now wore a bandana with pants. Helen would now receive a new outfit, and would be renamed to Henrietta again. Jasper would be the most changed, now becoming a Dalmatian wearing farmer's clothes, and being renamed to Hank. Pasquale would receive a new outfit with new, white facial hair, and be renamed to Antonio, although he's usually referred to as Tony. The soundtrack and current equipment to run the show were supplied by Sally Corporations, who also created other animatronic shows, such as Daniel and the Dixie Diggers. The show would be located on a platform between the loading and unloading sections of Gillian's Frontier Express monorail. The show also worked differently, with you having to enter $1 in order for the band to perform, in which it would play one of 8 country songs. 1999 footage shows off the bots, where they seem to be in decent shape, though issues can be seen such as Bubba having issues with one of his eyes, as well as Roggy having the same issue. Hank's mouth also seems to be broken here, or at the very least being oriented wrong. The show declined majorly in condition in the 2000s, with 2004 footage showing the bots not moving much for the most part. Bubba was the only one that appeared to be in good shape, the rest had many movements out. The characters got a makeover in regards to their clothes, with all the characters getting brown outfits except for Henrietta, who got a red dress. 2008 footage does show them to be in better shape, though there's still issues, with Henrietta not moving much whatsoever, with Henrietta being in a new dress that appears to be either dark blue or gray, wearing a hat with white and black feathers coming out of the edges. 2011 footage shows them to be in alright shape. 2013 footage shows the show to be in about the same shape, though Henrietta appears to not move at all here. 2015 footage shows the show to be in much better shape, with the characters all moving well here. This is also when the final major outfit change would happen, as Bubba, Rocky, and Hank would be changed into their original clothes from the 90s, and Tony would be changed into a blue suit, now wearing a bucket on his head. Henrietta's outfit would remain the same during this time. In 2016, actors 317, also known as Andrew, would start working on the show, and most notably would make changes such as repainting the irises of the eyes, but also kept the show in solid shape, which we can see in 2017 footage, where they're in about the same shape as before, though moving quite a bit slower now. 2019 footage shows the same story condition-wise, though Henrietta is now in a new outfit, that being a purple sleeveless dress with a black skirt. 2020 footage shows the show to be moving quickly again, but otherwise is in the same shape. The show to remain this way, being kept in solid shape until October 13th, 2024, when the pier would close. Currently, we don't know what's going to happen to the stage, aside from the fact that it's going to be removed. Andrew, the tech of the show for 7 years now, is likely going to get them, and honestly, that's probably the best fate this show can receive after performing for over 40 years in multiple different venues, being home in the hands of a private collector, performing for many years to come. In conclusion, the Man and Dog Show has quite the interesting history, originally being from a Pizza Time theater, to then being converted into a rival chain, then being sent to another rival chain and performing on a house, to finally performing for over 30 years at Gillian's Pier. Overall, this is quite the interesting set of bots, and I'm happy that it's likely going to be in the hands of a private collector and giving them a happy ending. Thank you guys for watching this video. This was a different video to usual, but I thought this show deserved it since Gillian's Pier has recently closed, and I wanted to honor that closure with this video. So, rest in peace, Gillian's Wonderland Pier. My next video is going to be covering the last CU1 state's location that I have yet to cover, that being Columbus, Georgia. If you're interested in seeing that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you're notified when it drops. God bless, and I hope you all have a blessed day.